One thing cancer did for me is take away a lot of memory. It's a lot of medicine and something's happened, so I had to keep it right here because it could have been anywhere after tonight. But I would just like to tell you guys what an honor it is to be here. To be able to represent other cancer survivors and to be able to advocate for an organization that just means the world to me is an amazing honor. And thank you, Mom, for that introduction. I love you. So thank you to First Ascents for allowing me to be here. I have learned from surviving cancer to really appreciate great moments. And to me, this is one of them. Not that I'm excited to speak in front of all of you, no offense. I am nervous, but I'm grateful to be here around loving and generous people who are here for an amazing cause. And I feel so blessed. My cancer journey began 2.5 years ago. It was shortly after my 30th birthday. And I thought I was healthy. I thought I was in my prime. I was happy. I am a mother. And I am a wife to a wonderful husband. And I thought I had a lot of future. And I still think I do, but what I didn't know is that I had cancer. And I will never forget that call. If you know anyone that's had cancer that's told you about that, the moment they found out, you find out, time freezes. The world stops. You are never prepared to hear those words. Never. But I did. And I have stage 4 appendix cancer. I've talked to some of you tonight, and I think the first thing that people say is, well, can't they just take it out? Like, it should be an easy fix, right? That's actually how they found mine, is they took it out, and through pathology they found tumors. The bad news is, before they removed it, my appendix had ruptured, and that's always bad news. That was a fight in its own. But for my cancer, that's a near-death sentence. And so they did take it out, and I'm so grateful they did, because that's what started my treatment and an ability to heal. So what happened next, I'll try to keep brief, because I know you probably don't want to hear a lot of medical things, but I want to show you where I was in my life before I found this amazing organization. Local doctors held a tumor board, and this is what they do for cancer patients. And with my history, with the fact that it ruptured and cancer cells spread all over my body, in my abdominal cavity, they decided I was untreatable. Those are also words you're not ever prepared to hear when you're 30 and you have 2 little girls and you have a lot of life ahead of you. There's no clinical trials for my cancer. It's kind of an orphan type. There's no chemos developed for it, and so they just didn't think they could do anything. But I wanted to live. They didn't give me a lot of hope. But as people, we naturally want to live. We set goals. We have dreams. We picture our futures, and we work towards those things. It's hard to explain to you how cancer can try to take that away. Your dreams are replaced with fear and uncertainty. And that's where it was. But I held on to hope. I was always trying to find the silver lining, even during some really, really dark days. But I became my own advocate. And I just started searching the whole world over, trying to find somebody that would do anything to help me. And that happened. I did find a doctor that was willing to do that. And the next step for me, if you're squeamish, you might not want to listen. I'll leave out the really bad details. But once again, I wanted to tell you a little bit where I was. So the next step for me involved surgery that was really risky. But it was my only chance, because I'm untreatable. But they sliced me over 20 inches from breastbone to below my pubic bone, and they cut out all the visible tumors they could see, and they were everywhere. Those cancer seeds that had spread through my abdomen started to grow, and it was really a mess. It was on, I can't remember, I think roughly 15 organs when I was initially diagnosed. So they sliced out all the ones they could. The ones they couldn't remove that are vital, they'd take chunks off, like my liver. And the ones that they couldn't do that, they would slice and peel the outer lining. And then part of it, they cut out the entire skin inside my abdominal cavity. So the only way I can describe it is essentially like being skin, but inside out. And then after that, they hooked me up to a machine where they pumped in all near boiling chemo and pumped it inside my body. And it's not something that a typical cancer patient gets, but it's a new radical treatment that I was willing to try because I needed a chance. And so I did it, and it was pretty rough. Because beyond burning the cancer cells inside, it burned my whole body, third-degree burns everywhere, on every surface in there. There's a lot of organs in there, and they didn't respond well. And it made a pretty rough road ahead. The healing was tough. I remember a few months after my diagnosis, by the way, that was only my 3rd surgery, and I had a lot ahead of that. But I remember a few months into my diagnosis, in the beginning, you just feel like a warrior. So that's why I used the word there that they had shown in the video, and that might be a strong word, but when you're fighting cancer, you have to feel like a warrior. You might give in. And you're buoyed up by your support system, and there's all these people around you that are saying, you can do this, you can fight it, they're willing to shave their heads, and they're doing anything for you, and you feel that strength. But after months, sometimes years like mine, you're pretty worn down. You don't have a whole lot left that even can fight. That's physically, that's emotionally, that's on so many levels. And I was really worn down. I wanted to live so bad. And I had the best motivation in the world. At the time I was diagnosed, my daughters were 2 and 6. And I have an amazing husband that's a good dad, but I think I'm a better mom. I think they needed me too. And that was an amazing motivator. There were some really, really rough days, as I mentioned. And I can't tonight not mention my mom, who is here. I'm so grateful for her, because I have an amazing husband and support group, but this woman stood beside me, changing my feeding tube, changing IVs, taking care of my children for years, almost 2 years. And so I'm so grateful for that. Mom, I love you. And it means so after the surgeries, and there's still a lot more, but I also tried chemo. It didn't necessarily work. They told me my odds of it helping were about 5%, but if I fell in that 5%, it was worth it. So I did. It made me really violently sick, and chemo does. My body was kind of almost allergic to it. I did 5 months of constant infusions. I wore a pump around 24/7. I wasn't allowed to take a shower for over 6 months. I did clean myself, but wow, I was so grateful to get back in the shower. And I did it until the doctors told me it was doing more harm than good, and they actually took me off. And then the next few months involved more surgeries. Some things happened where my organs were shutting down. More complications happened than what the doctors expected. Basically everything that could have gone wrong did. I was bedridden. I was nearly starving to death. I dropped down to 88 pounds, lost over 50 pounds in a period of weeks. I lost the feeling in my legs. I lost pretty much everything that life had, and my life was spiraling and tanking pretty bad. And they weren't really sure I was going to pull through. And thankfully that was a blur of blood transfusions, surgeries, and so many things. Luckily I don't remember a lot of those months, and I'm very grateful. They were the scariest months of my life. I vividly remember praying and just begging my Maker just to preserve me to the next day. I just wanted one day, because if I could get to that day, maybe I could get to the next one. And I truly, without exaggerating a thing, needed a miracle. And it's hard to understand now when you can see me before you, and I look like a normal, healthy person. But I needed a miracle, and somehow I got one. And I'm here today, and I'm so grateful for that. But this is where I was when I found FD. The best way I can describe it was like my first day at FD. So I went to a kayaking camp. They also have surfing and rock climbing, which are amazing too. And those participants find the same amazing experience that I did. But I started out in a boat. I was the type of girl that didn't even like to get my hair wet in the pool, so I was in a kayak. Never done that before, and this was going to be interesting, but I was so excited to be there. And the boat, I just remember not being able to have any control. We were supposed to go forwards. I was sideways, backwards, upside down, pretty much every direction except for where I was supposed to be, and that's really how my life was too. It didn't matter how hard I tried to paddle forward, I was always just the wrong way. And I had no control. Cancer took that away from me, but that's where FD stepped in and they gave it back. By the end of the week, I felt like I had gained some control of my life and what I could do, and I can't even describe it, but it was amazing. And I did learn how to control my boat a little bit better, just a little bit. but I'm working on it. Before FD, I was surviving in a shell of myself. I was terrified to set goals because I was terrified I wouldn't be able to achieve them, and that's just a bad feeling. I was afraid to commit to anything because I didn't know what the next day or the next month and the next week meant. My body was alive, but I don't think my spirit was. If you ask my children what FD means to them, they will say it's what gave their mom back to them. Even though medicine did a lot, it's what made me actually come back alive, physically and emotionally. And it wasn't just kayaking, it was my week at FD. It was amazing to sit there and face fears other than cancer, and other than death, and other than the possibility of leaving my children without a mother, because that's what my mind had been occupied with. But for a whole week, I didn't fear that at all. I don't even think I thought about cancer. What I feared was being upside down in a rapid and not being sure what else to do next. Sorry. And it was pretty amazing. I know I left my fears, some of my biggest fears, on that water, and there's been no going back. It's been amazing. FD also gave me a sense of community. There's something that I can't explain, but being in a room with other people that just get it, and you don't have to tell them what you've been through because they've been through it too. Maybe not exactly the same path, but something. That was so empowering, and those people are like my family now. Not only other campers, but staff. And they're like a second family, and that's been a huge blessing. It also helped me embrace a new normal. When your body changes so much, even though once again you might look normal, but I don't feel good a lot of days. I don't feel my legs. I wasn't sure I could walk. I lost so many things, but FD helped me find that normal and embrace it and be okay with it. I learned to take back control of my body. I was reminded again that I'm strong, because before FD I actually thought I was fragile. I had a lot of desire to fight, but I felt so physically weak. And there I did things that I think even challenge healthy athletes, and that was amazing to me. And that's a huge part of their philosophy. Afterwards, they challenge you. That's right. Thank you. You guys are awesome. But they have so many other things beyond camp. They challenge you to go back and set healthy goals and to achieve these things, and I did that. And some of mine, I did things I've never done before. I went home and I bought a bike immediately. Why I didn't own one, I don't know, but I don't live in Colorado, I guess. But I bought a bike, and I restarted tennis, which is a sport I love that I never thought I could play again because I don't feel my legs. I became a Zumba instructor. Yeah, it's kind of hard to dance when you don't feel them, but somebody comes to my class, and I love it. I would have never tried that before. I was inspired by the other staff and the other volunteers that were there, because they conquered things too, and they not only survived, but I watched them thrive, and I wanted to do the same. My oncologists were amazed, because once again, it was just miracles, and I can't even really describe them all to you because I don't have the time, but they've been amazed at what FD's done for me. The need is so great, and the ability to change and prolong young adult cancer fighter survivor lives is here. This summer alone, as Brad mentioned, there will be about 700 lives changed by first ascents. And as we speak right now, I don't know the exact number, but there's roughly 100 that are on a waiting list that just can't be accommodated at this time. And there are so many more. What did you say, 70,000 more per year that are diagnosed that haven't even heard of FD yet. So we've established a need. I know, no matter what, that your contributions will make a difference and will change lives. And those are lives like mine. And you'll change them forever. I can honestly tell you that First Ascents has been one of the strongest parts in my fight against cancer. And I should tell you that right now, as we speak, I'm still fighting. I came home from First Ascents, and I fought some more, and I immediately came home to more surgeries where more cancer was found. And that was in September when I had that. And then I had a small reprieve, and in April they've just found more. And as we stand right now, they are once again calling me untreatable. But I just know that when one door closes, you look for a window, and I'm looking for that, and I'm very optimistic. am hopeful. I really am. I have witnessed miracles before, and I'm so grateful to be here. And I don't want you to think it's a sad story, because it's not. It's a story of joy for me. I love every day, and I am so grateful for that. But I can tell you, without question, that First Descents has been one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. Now, I don't want you to think you need to go get cancer to be involved. And I really wouldn't recommend it, trust me. But I do challenge you to get involved in any way you possibly can. My family and I will be forever grateful for what it has done for us. As the video said earlier, I do have cancer. But I am not defined by my cancer. I am a mother. I am a wife. I am a warrior. I am a Zumba instructor. A friend. I'm a kayaker. Maybe a little kayaker, but I'm practicing. I'm a cancer advocate. I am a daughter. I am a survivor. And I am a lifetime supporter of First Descents. So,